This is part 8, and now we continue Bill and Ted's excellent Halloween adventure. Okay, we had Daisy Duke making the bat signal with her hand puppet mastery, and of course that called Batman to arrive, and so Batman began. And it was the Christian Bale Batman Begins Batman, but he was oh so whiny. And fighting the Scarecrow, he would, Scarecrow would hit him and go, "Ah, it hurts!" And then he got something in his eyes, "I can't see!" And so he starts beating the crap out of Ted and out of Daisy Duke and out of all the good and all the good guys, Uncle Jesse, those who are on the stage. It's, "I keep beating up good guys." He says, "No, stop beating up the good guys." And he says, "Oh," suddenly you can see again. Damn it! Yeah, he's having a terrible time here. Well, who defeated the Scarecrow? Well, Uncle Jesse goes up to the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow says, "Try this," and blows his evil fear dust into Jesse's face, and he goes, "Hey, that's pretty good. Here, try some of mine," and throws some something to the Scarecrow. "Snakes! Snakes! Ah!" and runs off the stage because Jesse then thanked Bobby Brown for the blow, and then leaves. After that, let's see. I think there was more fighting. I believe at this point is when the main villains come back on the stage, and most of the heroes there were left without any further champions to fight for them. And that's when the Emperor is told by Willy Wonka that Anakin Skywalker has been put back together again. Earlier, when Bill became Darth Bogus, Anakin got all pissed off because, "I'm supposed to be the chosen one," and he kind of prances, he storms off the set and goes out the door. He says, "No, don't go," and Willy Wonka says, "Don't go through that door. That leads into the, the works of his factory, basically, and bits and pieces, arms and legs come flying." I says, "Why does that always happen? Oh, well, we could fix him up and get him back to normal again." Yes, Willy Wonka had a few interesting candy jokes in the show, too, earlier. He was talking about how we would, go sail up the Hershey Highway and end up in the fudge packing plant. And little Stewie Griffin is, "Ooh, that sounds wonderful." But enough of those silly jokes. There was another one, too, that I don't remember. It had a similar double entendre that involved gay sex. Go figure. Let's see. So, at this point, after Anakin had been chopped up earlier in the show, Willy Wonka had said he'd finally been reassembled and he was now Darth Vader again. And he said, "Okay, so let's bring him out." When he comes out, it's the Burger King. He says, "I made a few adjustments. You may be the Emperor, but he's the King." And so here comes the Burger King, ready to wreak havoc on our heroes, when suddenly out of the phone booth comes, in brown robes, clearly a Jedi Master, to fight the Burger King, and is Ronald McDonald. And there's a huge battle between the Burger King and Ronald McDonald with lots of silly jokes. Something like, "Here, have a bitch slappy meal." That sort of thing. And they're fighting, and pretty much it's a stalemate until the little Wendy's girl comes on, pissed at both of them. "Which one of you assholes put your finger in my chili?" And chases them both off the stage. So now it's pretty much all the fighting is done, because it's just down to, it's just down to Bill and Ted. And now, with his lightsaber, Darth Bogus tells Ted that he must die unless he eats the chocolate and become and fulfill his destiny and become Darth Heinous. And he says, "Dude, I mean, just because, The Matrix was such a hit movie and your career tanked does not mean that..." It's like, "Oh yeah? Then how come Constantine sucked? Oh, dude!" And he kicks him in the balls. At this point, Ted returns to normal because... Bill returns to normal because, "Ted, you totally kicked the Sith out of me." So, at this point, they're back to normal. The Emperor has been foiled. He's angry. He says, "Wow, all right, you think you've won, but this Death Bar Easy Bake Oven is now fully operational. Ha ha ha." then salvation comes to a most unexpected avenue when Willy Wonka shakes off the power of the dark side and reverts to his true, wholesome, chocolate-making self by telling the Emperor, "You're weird, and fortunately all of my devices have a self-destruct button," which he promptly pushes so the thing will explode. With the evil finished, the Emperor says, "All right, now, go ahead and kill me and take your place as the rulers of the universe." And Bill says, "Dude, we're totally not about power. No, it's about being excellent to one another and partying on." And suddenly the Emperor got it and gave up the dark side himself, just like the narrator doing his old thing from the Dukes of Hazzard says, his heart grew 3 times, Grinch thing. So the Emperor comes to the bright side and rips off his dark robes, revealing a scrawny, pale body in oversized undershorts. As he starts the book, he says, "No, not like that, like this." And now comes the singing and dancing for no reason that always ends the show. And so we have, this time, the highlights included Britney Spears singing Outrageous, and she was in her little pink sort of, with bare midriff pink thing with I think she had a pink thing in one of those videos, and she was wearing that outfit, but with her new kid on her on a thing on her back. So she had the kid there, showing what a terrible mother Britney is to have the kid out there. Bobby Brown singing My Prerogative. Missy Elliott shows up to sing Lose Control. Madonna does an awesome Express Yourself number wearing the outfit from Vogue with the exposed cones, and everyone's doing the Vogue in the entire cast. It's very, very good Madonna scene. And then Billie Joe Armstrong from Green Day doing American Idiot, great number. And finally, Axl Rose appears to sing Welcome to the Jungle to just climax the whole thing. Dude playing Axl, much better looking than Axl ever was, even in his day. Great music, and the whole thing was really well done that year. Okay, now, so that was Bill and Ted for 2005. Now, let us now talk a little bit about something that went on the website. As I mentioned earlier, the website continued to have more stuff even after the event began. So even if you went to Halloween Horror Nights on opening night and enjoyed everything, if you managed to see everything in one night, which is difficult, especially on a peak night, but got back home and checked your computer, suddenly there was something else further into the event. There was, as I said, those lovely folks at A&D aware of us, the mutant freaks who are the fans of Halloween Horror Nights, and the newly formed HHN Vault, which had just spawned in 2005, having risen from the ashes of HHN HQ, and I started to lurk there that year, actually. So at this time, they're aware of these people out there on the internet, and they said, let's give them something, because a lot of these people are right here in the Orlando area. Let's do something for the local guest, obsessive fan who goes online. We're going to do an interactive scavenger hunt type game situation. So all of a sudden there were clues that were written sometimes in code, sometimes they're in runic letters, sometimes they were involved in GPS coordinates, sometimes they were in another language or written backwards or some other strange encryptation. And if you solved that, and if you weren't able to solve that, all you had to do was go to one of your fan forums and someone else would have solved it and told you what it was, right? So you do that, and you would find yourself at a specific place, at a specific time, on a specific night at the event. Once you figure out exactly where you're supposed to be, there would be a character or somebody who would give you a clue. And then you would take that clue, and it was also an encrypted verse of some kind that led, which was part of another clue. Every single time they gave one of these out, at the end you'd put them all together and it would form a long poem, and each verse would then lead you to what the final thing would be. and that would be on the final night, Halloween night. At a very specific time and place you would go to find out what that was. And what that was would be a very special sneak preview. You know the VIP lounge thing I did last year? Sort of like that, except just for the people who solved this clue. And then you got to go, I was unable to go on Halloween night, and I didn't get all the clues anyway, so I wasn't able to attend this. But I think it was in that VIP thing above Confisco's. I'm not sure if that's where it was held, but that's where I think it was likely held, where they had all sorts of stuff, maquettes for making, of characters, the designs, and all the nifty artifacts and designs and stuff for Halloween Horror Nights that year that you could look at and see. It was all quite wonderful. I only actually picked up one clue. It was the clue that was in runes. And I can show you here that when I got this, it was in the Gorewood Forest clue, I actually went to great lengths. I still have the worksheet. I took the runes and I went through and I got a hold of the Futhark, which is the actual runic alphabet, the Elder Futhark, which is the one, and I used that and I went through and carefully deciphered the clue, which was something like, as the fools and jesters in a nearby realm take to the stage for a second time this night, an opportunity exists, but only until they bow. Where Mick Lamorgue drew his last breath, his friend and yours waits in the dark, but not alone. One of 13 from the cold dead ground has all the words you need to know, but Gorewood Forest is not enough. Now, what? That's what you would decipher out of the runes. Once you deciphered that, you had to figure it out. Well, the first part of the clue has to do with the Bill and Ted show. And you figured out the second show that night was at 8:30 p.m. Okay, so it had to be between 8:30 and whenever the Bill and Ted show ended. And I had to figure out where it was. Well, the thing about Rick Lamorgue was a reference to something that was on the website in Gorewood Forest. It talked about this guy named Rick Lamorgue who died in the cemetery mines. So you knew it was somewhere in the cemetery mines area in Gorewood Forest. It says, one of the 13 from the cold dead ground has all the words you need to know. Well, that referred to that skull. That was one of the 13 skulls from the cold dead ground. And the words are in runes on the skull. So you had to translate that. And cemetery mines was 13 letters. And a song of 13 skulls in the cold dead ground. So you got that. Gorewood Forest is not enough. Cemetery mines had to be said. Plus the fact that Mick Lamorgue. You gave that information to when you got there. So when you got there, you found that in one of those cemetery the mine entrances, one of those structures they set up for the knuckle grunts, you would go in there and there was a guy dressed in sort of a funny outfit, medieval outfit, or whatever, and you gave him the password, and then he gave you this. Okay, and this little card has on it, know the language of flesh to stone, recite the words that you have found, repeat the chant of Gorewood Bone. So you only have that, and you don't know what it is, but you've got that clue. Now that was the only clue I actually picked up, and there were several of them throughout many days, and they all put together would give you the location and place and time on Halloween night for that special get-together. And those people who are lucky enough to do that, they put a thing up on the website afterwards. It says the witnesses. And these were the witnesses, and it was Steve Johnson, Ron Johnson, Greg Johnson, Sarah Hall, Jeff Chamberlain, Blizzard, Greg Johnson was Downward Hope, Alex Mills, John Chamberlain, Esther Calavet, Courtney Calavet, Spooky McDoom, Bane Calavet, Adam LaPrade, Matt Downham, Jason Clark, Sky Martin, Nick Chandler, Nick C., cool guy, Mary Foster, Steve Olick, Daytona HHN Freak, Danny Prince, Master Blade Forger, Josh Choppers, or Josh, David Campbell, Dr. Freak, founder of the Vault, Zane Barefoot, Caleb Ferrer, Emily Hunter, Jerry Danes, Thrillseeker, Kevin Parker, Napoleon Dynamite, Nolan Libero, Crewbar, Greg Bannerman, Evil Shady, Carolyn Present, Jordan Present, Nightshade, awesome, awesome fellow, John Hollenbeck, Dave Durda, Dan Cuff, Jeff Polk, and Paul Dworkin. these were the witnesses who got to experience that wonderful event on Halloween night. Plus, there's further runes underneath, which was the HHN design team salutes all those who took the time and interest to be part of this year's Halloween Horror Nights. Thanks to all of you from all of us. Continued, Part 9.